Hey, and welcome to this week's edition of the Life and Legacy Show, sponsored by the Sechler Law Firm, where great families make great estate plans. My name is Tim Sechler. I am the owner, operator, and proprietor of the Sechler Law Firm. I am also your host of this radio show each and every weekend, where we give you the information you need in order to make great estate planning decisions. And I appreciate you joining us. If you're new to the show, what we typically do is we either answer some listener questions about some common topics, or we sort of do some current events and just talk about how a proper legal plan, particularly in retirement years. I mean, a lot of our clients are in their retirement years or soon to be retirement years. And we've got some ideas on how to do a great estate plan. And so I want to share that stuff with you, whether you decide to work with my law firm or whether you decide to work with some other law firm. I want you to have a fully loaded library of information for you to be able to make great estate planning decisions. And so here you go. Now, as you're listening to this, it is Small Business Saturday. So I've got a vision of you driving around your car and you're shopping at all these local small businesses, and on comes this radio show. And we're going to talk to you about supporting the small business. Sechler Law Firm happens to be a small business, and so obviously we've got a special interest in today, and we also have a special interest in working with other entrepreneurs. I love an entrepreneur. Right. I look at this stuff and I, after having been through this and been exposed to small business ownership, which I wasn't growing up in the same way that I am now, I love some entrepreneurs. I think that the people that don't start their own business just don't get it the same way that entrepreneurs get it. They don't understand the risk reward. They just don't understand it. And as a result of the risks that business owners are willing to take, it moves our economy forward, right? So I've got like a list of heroes living out that American dream. You've got the military, you got first responders, you got healthcare workers, you got all these important people. But up on that list has to be the people that are trying to move this economy forward, and that typically is small business. Most Americans work for small businesses, and it's a significant chunk of the GDP. So here is to the small business owners. I hope you are out and about this weekend supporting a small business. And so what I want to do is talk a little bit about planning for the small business owners, because we got a little bit of unique perspective. And then the second half of the show, I have to respond to some stuff that some questions we've been getting from the community, from the audience, and from some healthcare people wanting to know about eligibility for long-term care benefits, this whole Medicare and Medicaid thing. And so I've got some content I'd like to share with you on this. And that's what we're going to do. So before we get into the content, hey, listen, this is not legal advice. I am a lawyer. I am not yet your lawyer, though we'd love to earn your business. If you'd like to work with our firm, a firm that cares about you, go to sechlerlawfirm.com, Sechler lawfirm.com. You can find out all about our unique way of approaching estate plans. We do estate plans in group classroom settings in an effort to keep the billable hours down and the quality of the legal work up. And so we've got this whole process dedicated to getting you the right plan for your family. And so if you've had this stuff on the back burner for a long time, hey, support this small business. We'd be happy to help you out. All right, so let's talk about planning for small businesses. There's some unique things going on here, okay? And it's not just money. It's just not the type of money and the type of our assets, though those things are different with small business owners. You know, if you think about it, what is take a middle class, most common middle class retiree, soon to be retiree. Most of their net worth is typically in their home equity and retirement accounts, right? That's just where it is. Nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people that have done very well and have very secure futures, very secure retirements, and have loved their career with that. But small business owners typically don't have that. I mean, maybe some home equity, but usually the net worth is not in retirement accounts. Usually the net worth is in the business itself, right? And if you think about it, it makes sense. You know, small business owner, you could set up a retirement account. But a thing that's always in the back of a small business owner's mind that folks on a salary don't have is the risk of what about next month? You know, I got expenses next month, whether anybody buys anything around here or not. And so my experience working with small business owners is they like to leave their money is money, right? They don't put it into a retirement account that charges a 10% penalty to pull the money out, because if we have lean months, and most businesses do have the lean months and we need to call on some cash, I don't want a 10% penalty associated with that retirement account to be how I get it. And so my experience is most small business owners don't have a lot of their net worth in retirement accounts. Now, this is not an investment show. I'm not saying whether you should or shouldn't. I'm just sharing my experience. And so, listen, whether you do or not, there's some other unique concerns with this. Maybe you own a piece of real estate associated with this business. Maybe not. Maybe you've got family succession. Maybe not. Maybe you're going to sell the thing someday. Maybe not. Maybe, and so there's these unique things that are not necessarily associated with a traditional estate plan. So let's deal with a couple of them. The top three issues I would say is, how do we value this small business? There's been some recent rules out of the IRS about the valuation of small businesses, okay? And especially when we're talking about transfers to close people, family members and friends. And it used to be the case that you could get some depreciation, some reduction in the value, right? So when we're valuing this estate for tax purposes, there are advantageous ways where business owners may want to look and make sure that the property is not worth as much as it might be, because if I were to sell it, who knows who would actually write the checks. If we get into an appraisal of the thing in order to value it, well, there's appraisers that will put some numbers on this thing, but then, okay, all right, so let's say you're saying this business is worth $1 million, go find me a buyer for $1 million, right? And so there's problems with the appraisal process in general, but that said, there are some valuation games that are played in the law with, splitting up interest, and then, well, we don't really have the control to sell the whole thing. We can only sell a partial thing, and now maybe would-be buyers are not interested because nobody's interested in buying a partial interest in this business, and so that's a reduction in value, and there's these games that have been played. And so if you have an estate plan that you've done some time ago that may, in part, take a look at these strategies, the IRS has had some new regs and some new case law that came out that sort of impacts whether that's still the way to go, and calls into question whether there should be some changes in the plan. So if that sounds familiar, maybe you want to reach out to your existing attorney. Maybe you want to give us a call. We'd be happy to chat with you about it and see if this requires an adjustment of your estate plan. Now, here's the other thing about this. So let's get away from taxes and evaluation just for a second. What about transfer? What about succession planning? There's an entire wave of baby boomer small business owners who need to do something with this business. Maybe you want to retire. Maybe we got healthcare issues that are a concern, and we got to do an exit. Just a word to the wise: if this is you, exit planning is best done if we put a couple of years of thought into it. Even if you got a family member that wants to take over. There is some planning that maybe we want to take a look at this thing and start those conversations ahead of time, because these deals don't take place in a 15-day span, right? It takes a little work. It takes a little effort. And so if you're interested in learning more about succession planning generally, these are things where you got to sit down with a lawyer and really talk through it. And that's a succession plan. It could be broken down into a couple categories, one of which is you're going to do a gift. Like, there are people that gift the business to a child. There are people that sell the business to a child. Maybe we don't have a family member that wants to take over that small business, so now we got to sell the thing to a third party. And then you get into dealing with business brokers and some different folks there. And so, it can be a relatively complicated process. And if you're looking to learn how to get started with this, I think it's a conversation first with your family to see if the people you have in mind actually have an interest in it. Let's not assume that the people have an interest in it. And then you get a conversation going. You start to put some hypothetical deal points. What if this? What if that? Proper legal advice, tax advice along the way. And over time, the thing can shake out, into a transfer strategy that makes some sense. And with the conversation, I think needs to start, because this takes some real time. And then, of course, estate planning tools factor in. So the way I like to think about estate planning when it comes to business owners is there's planning that needs to go on internally to the documents, buy-sell agreements and operating agreements and different things that we need to take a look at that are internal to the business. Sometimes an operating agreement or the prior sale of shares of this company will restrict what you can do and who you can sell it to and how that goes. So we got to look at those internal agreements. And then there's the documents that are external to the business, wills and trusts and powers of attorney, right? And the entire system of documents, both internal to the business and external to the business, they need to talk to each other, right? Because we cannot put the property into some type of trust that may limit someone's control or access to some money if the internal operating agreement has some document restricting such a transfer of those shares. And so it needs to be done in conjunction with an estate planning attorney and a business attorney to make sure that we're doing this whole thing correctly. And if you want to learn more about those estate planning tools, things like wills and trusts, this is why we have our estate planning and elder law workshops. We handle these things, pretty frequently. It's called the 3 Secrets to Protect Your Legacy. And the entire idea is we're teaching you legal technical tools that you should know about. Whether you're a business owner or not, you should know the difference between a will and a trust. You should know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust. And you should also know it doesn't take super high net worth to need a trust. There are different types of trusts that do different things, and we do trust for middle-class folks all the time. And so come to one of our 3 Secrets to Protect Your Legacy workshop. You can find those workshops at sechlerlawfirm.com, SECHLER lawfirm.com. Come check it out, see if we may be the firm for you, and learn some free information. Leave your pocketbook at home. You cannot hire us at that workshop. It's just information. And teaching how we do our unique classroom-based process. All right, now here's the other thing I want to talk to you about with the business owners. Business owners typically have a great story, right? It just seems to me, I think that there's a thing that occurs, not that it doesn't occur in other careers, but it definitely occurs in every small business where there's risk and there's struggles and there's challenges that we get knocked down and you get back up. And this occurs in almost every business. And in those stories, man, those trials, they build character. And the business owners that I know that have been able to do this and win and do this and lose and then try again and win again, there's some great stories in there. And it would be a shame if those stories don't get told. All right. Now, part of a comprehensive estate plan, in my mind, is not just the legal documents. Okay, you have to have great legal documents. You have to have great wills, great trusts, all the things. You got to have great legal documents. But I don't think that's the end of the estate plan, because proper estate planning for me, and the way that we do this with our clients and our Red Wagon Club members, is it doesn't end with the documents. Okay, the documents typically deal with valuables. Real estate, investment accounts, money, valuables. What about the values? What about your family values? What about your core principles? What about the things that you've learned during this struggle that we would love to be able to transfer those core values onto our family members, and just the stories that we went through to learn them, maybe in an effort to save our family members from making the same mistakes we did, maybe just because, look, we all want to be remembered fondly. And there is no good reason to keep those great stories, your story, to yourself. And so one of the things that we do with our ongoing clients, so we have a thing that we call our Red Wagon Club, which is the ongoing membership where we continue to work with our clients well past just the creation of an estate plan. With our Red Wagon Club members, we have a workshop and an ongoing program where we encourage you to record some stories for future generations. And then we talk to you about how to store it and how to get it to those future generations. Because, listen, your kids and your grandkids want to know your story. They want to know those lessons. They want to know about you. They want this as much as they want the money or anything else. Your story matters, and you should not let it go untold, right? And so when we're working with clients, part of our estate plan is to have people come to a class where they learn how to record stories. We give them a framework for how to think about telling stories, the prompts, the questions that you should answer to sort of elicit these great stories you got buried down deep inside. And when we're thinking about small business owners this weekend, Small Business Saturday in particular, look, entrepreneurs have a great story. And take the time, encourage your loved one who is an entrepreneur to get the right estate plan. From a legal technical standpoint, we don't want to make mistakes with the money and the taxes. but make sure they do one what also gives them the ability to tell the story. Where do we open our first location? How did we hire our first employee? What was that person's name? What was the first time? It's like the whole idea of putting the check in an envelope on the wall. This is the first dollar we ever made. Well, we should tell that story. I can tell you. I won't tell you the guy's name, but I can remember the name of the first will I ever sold. It's just there are these milestone events in the ownership of a small business that should get written down. They should be told. And so anyway, that's that piece. And that's the kind of thing that we like to do for our clients. Is one piece of a broader concept of estate planning that includes, getting legal documents, telling stories, financial alignment, making sure that the assets line up with the estate plan. Real healthcare decision making. If you want to stay in your house as long as possible, fantastic. Most folks do, but do you actually have a plan to do it? Because your desire to stay in your home does not impact whether you're going to be able to. And if you're going to need care in the home, that's not cheap. So how are we going to get that? Who's going to pay for it? So it requires a plan, much like most things in life. Things done well require a plan. So we do the storytelling, and then we have a class that we teach our clients, adult children, about their future roles and responsibilities as power of attorney, as trustee, as executor of the will. Because you can hand me Mike Tomlin's playbook, it doesn't make me the Steelers coach. And so why are we pretending that if we just give our kids a bunch of legal documents they don't understand, that it's going to make them a good trustee? They don't understand. Right, so we got to teach them the rules of the game, and these things that I'm talking about here, the core values, the stories, the healthcare decision making, financial alignment. That's a comprehensive estate plan. If you need an estate plan that provides you peace of mind, what I'm talking about here this morning goes well beyond legal documents. Legal documents do not provide you peace of mind. Right, and number one answer survey says that clients want when they complete an estate plan is they want some peace of mind. Of course. But we don't just want peace of mind the day we sign the documents. We want peace of mind 5 months later, 5 years later, knowing the plan still works. And I've done some planning for more than just the valuables. We've done planning for the values instead. So listen, check us out, SechlerLawFirm.com, SECHLER lawfirm.com. Come to one of our free workshops. Watch it as a webinar. Learn the information you need to better equip your family to deal with life's twists and turns. Let's protect some money along the way and not give too much to the government. Pretty simple when you put it that way, right? But most people don't take the time to do it. If you got that will from when the kids are little, you don't have a plan for any of that stuff. Let's get it done. SechlerLawFirm.com. Okay, now I got 8-10 minutes left in the episode today. There's an important issue that comes up every year this time of year that I want to make sure that we have a conversation around. So let me lay out this problem. This time of year, families get together. And a lot of families understand at this point that maybe a senior member of the family needs some help. Could be your mom, could be your uncle. But we haven't seen Uncle Bob in some time, and we got together with Uncle Bob, and he asked me to tell the same story 4 times, right? And maybe now we need to take a look at our healthcare issues. And then, and sometimes maybe it's a little bit even more significant than that. Now, most seniors are on Medicare, but the challenge with Medicare when it comes to healthcare is Medicare doesn't pay for nursing home care. Nursing home care, the way our government does it, which is completely broken. I mean, the program I'm describing right now is completely broken. It's not the way we should do it, but it's the current rules of the game. Current rules of the game is if Uncle Bob ends up needing a nursing home or Mom ends up needing a nursing home, the state's rule book says you got to go through all your money. Once you go through all your money, I mean, you're allowed to keep some pennies, but once you go through all your money, now you can apply for Medicaid benefits. After you go broke, you can apply for Medicaid benefits. But who the heck wants to go broke? I didn't work for 60 years to accumulate some stuff to go broke in a nursing home. And so if we need to go to a nursing home, then I don't want to go broke, okay? Now, this is where elder law attorneys work their way in. So one of my credentials is I am a certified elder law attorney. There are a few of us around the city. Where we come in is we say, well, listen, what if there was a way to get your loved one the care they need without going broke? I mean, that's a large part of what we do is asset protection, understanding the rules of this Medicare, Medicaid, VA system, understanding the rules of the game and just playing it well. At the end of the day, that's what elder law is. We're just playing the game well. It's all a game. I mean, this is all silliness, right? The fact that you got to go broke if you have the Alzheimer's disease instead of cancer, right? I mean, you can work 60 years, and whether you get to keep your stuff or not is a roll of the dice. It's like if I have cancer, I don't want cancer, but if I have cancer, generally speaking, the things that treat cancer are acute in nature: hospitalization, surgery, chemotherapy. That's covered by Medicare in my senior years. What's not covered is custodial long-term care. Custodial long-term care, that's not covered by Medicare. That is covered by no one until you go broke, at which point in time Medicaid can start covering. But I don't want to go broke, right? Now, here's the thing. Here's one of the saddest parts about this is there are seniors who need nursing homes right now. They might be your family members. They might be living up the street. It might be that senior nice person that used to come to church and they don't come to church anymore. We haven't seen them for a while. There are some people around that need help. And the reason that they are not getting that help is because they know that if they go to a nursing home, they are going to go broke, right? So imagine a married couple where dad needs care. Dad needs a nursing home. Family has some money, but not enough money to give a nursing home a couple $100,000 over the next couple of years and expect that mom is going to fare okay. All right, so let's take, I'll make up a fact pattern. Dad is 75 years old. Mom is 70 years old. Dad needs a nursing home. Mom is a spry 70-year-old. She could live 25 more years. But dad is not so spry, right? So dad needs care. Family has $300,000 in the bank. If dad goes into the nursing home, mom's going to get to keep about half of that. Now she's down to $150,000, and after she's down to $150,000, state of Pennsylvania is going to take some of his income too. So now she's got less money, she's got less income, and he could live there for a while, right? Now mom has less income. Dad eventually passes away first. Mom has only $150,000 left to her name. She's supposed to live another 20 years. There's not enough money for this, right? And so in this situation, there's a lot of fear. A lot of those husbands don't get placed in nursing homes. Mom breaks her back caring for dad, and he actually needs the nursing home care. And this happens in every town in the state. It happens everywhere. Dad needs the care. We don't make the care decision because we're afraid of going broke. It's a shame. It's a shame that that's the way the system is. But that's the way the system is. And what I want to tell you is you don't have to go broke. If you work with a proper elder law attorney, and not everybody that calls themselves an elder law attorney is what I would call a proper elder law attorney, but if you work with someone who knows what they're doing, there are opportunities. There are opportunities to protect mom. There are opportunities to protect money for mom so that the family will actually get to enjoy the retirement that they have been planning on for 60 years. Rather than losing it all to Alzheimer's disease. Because one of my core beliefs, one of the reasons that my law firm exists on this planet is pretty simple. You shouldn't have to go broke. If you worked money, I don't care how many zeros you have after your name, if you worked to accumulate some stuff, you should get to keep it. The government should not take it from you. A broken government rulebook that requires people with dementia to go broke should not be your outcome. There are some things you can do to protect yourself in this crazy broken system that's requiring seniors to lose all their money. You need to work with a proper elder law attorney, and you need to have a great plan in place. Now, if you are not in that situation currently, but you are concerned about that situation, what if in the future I got sick? You need to come to one of our 3 secrets to protect your legacy workshops, where we're going to teach you how to protect your stuff. If you are in that situation where you or a loved one currently needs the care, then you're welcome to come to the workshop for some free information. But a lot of these cases are a little bit more urgent, and we need to get somebody some care, and so we just offer free consultations on those types of cases. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a phone call with you to make sure that my law firm can help you with your goals, which are likely to protect assets from long-term care expenses. If that's your goal, we're going to help you evaluate your situation, figure out if we can do anything to help you with it, and then offer to work for you to go about implementing that strategy. And so if you're in that situation, listen, it's a free phone call. It is a free meeting to figure out if we can help you. What do you have to lose? Give us a call or check us out online, SechlerLawFirm.com, SECHLER lawfirm.com, or give us a call, 724-841-1393. I want to thank you for listening to the show. Again, my name is Tim Sechler. I am a certified elder law attorney here to help you protect your legacy. If I need to do my little warning, this is not legal advice. Don't make any decisions based on what you hear on this or any other radio show. If you need a lawyer, you should hire a lawyer. Go to SechlerLawFirm.com to find out more about our law firm, and I look forward to helping you protect your legacy. Thanks for listening. Go shop small business. Go support these people that support our communities, and have a great day.